I'm live. Hey, good morning. Happy opening day. Welcome to Hobby Evolution episode 540. It's opening day. Doesn't feel like it outside, but it is. I know a couple games have already been postponed. I think Jenny's with us. Good morning, Jenny. Your Twins are not playing today. And I believe the Yankees game, they may play each other, but I know that's affecting my fantasy baseball lineup for opening day. That's what sucks about fantasy baseball on opening day. If there's postponements, it's like in the middle of the season, there's guys that drop him, he's replaceable, plug somebody else into the lineup. But on opening day, it's like I just drafted these guys 6 days ago. I can't mess with my lineup. So happy opening day. My Cubs probably going to be like 35 degrees at Wrigley Field today with that cold Chicago wind. So I'll be watching it from the comfortable confines of my basement with a bunch of cards that I picked up from Goodwill yesterday. Get into that. So Jenny has a prediction. This is bold, Jenny. This is bold. The Cincinnati Reds winning the World Series with Nick Senzel taking the MVP. Wow, that's a super bold prediction. So my first home run, and I think Jenny asked this the other day, my first home run prediction was Anthony Rizzo, but the Yankees are not playing today. They have been postponed. So the Cubs and Brewers are playing today. So I'm going to say there's probably not going to be a lot of home runs hit because it's freaking cold. First home run. I'm just going to go with my buddy Patrick Wisdom. I'm going to go Patrick Wisdom, first home run of the 2022 season. Cubs and Brewers, I believe now, with the Yankees postponement. I think it was Yankees-Red Sox. With the Yankees postponement, the Cubs and Brewers are the first game on the docket today. So I'll take Patrick Wisdom, first home run of the 2022 Major League Baseball season. As for predictions on World Series, I'm just going to go chalk. I'm going to go favorites. The Dodgers. Look at that lineup. That's just insane. Their lineup, their rotation, like probably on paper the most talented roster ever created in Major League Baseball. So I'm going to say the Dodgers. National League MVP. Or I don't know if you mean World Series MVP with Senzel. I don't know. Let's go with Herman's guy, Freddie Freeman, and the Dodgers. Jenny says the Twins have already been eliminated from 2022 playoffs. No need to play. What's up, Ed? Good morning to you. Jenny says I'm going to go Rowdy to. I never pronounce his name correctly. Telez, Rowdy. First home run because it's always some out of nowhere guy. That is true. It's usually a random player. Victor, good morning. Baseball is here. Thank goodness baseball is here. So opening day. In the past, I've taken opening day off. I think I took opening day. Well, was last year last year was a normal year. 2020 was the wacky year. So I think I took last year. I think I took opening day off because I had some days that I needed to use. They were not like this is when I was still working at the previous company I worked for. They were like bonus days that I like for like sales recognition for just different sales metrics. So I had a couple days that I needed to use by like the end of April or something, however it worked. So I think I took opening day off last year. I had a friend who took opening day off, coworker. Every year it was like him and his brother and his friends. They like made it was like a party. I've never been much into opening day. I'll catch it if I'm home, but it's not like it hasn't been appointment television for me, which is kind of funny to hear me say that. But today will be working from home, selling baseball cards. So I will definitely be the TV. Not that I'm going to be I'm not going to be on the couch like staring at the TV, but it's going to be on. I will make sure to do the card stuff that I can do in the rec room will be done this afternoon watching the Cubs and Brewers. Zach, what's up? Good morning. Playing catch up. Diego, happy opening day to you as well. Let's watch till the end of May and come back in October. That's kind of how that's how I work. It's not just confined to baseball. It's college basketball. I'm gung ho in November and the first week of December, and it's like, okay, I'll watch here and there until February when the conference tournaments hit, and then I'm gung ho again. And then by the Final Four, it's like, in this year I was in Arizona for spring training during like the Sweet 16, and it's like I'm in baseball mode now. I don't care about what's going on, and none of my teams that I really cared about were in it yet in the Sweet 16. So, and then I picked it back up, and I watched a little bit of the Final Four. And then I did watch the national title game. Diego, watch baseball or watch Bo? What's up, Dan? Does anyone keep score from home? I used to dabble with that back, probably been 15 years ago, 20 years ago. I got into a kick of keeping score. Now I don't do scorebooks. I don't do many like periodicals when it comes to sports memorabilia. If I find like a cheap, if a buck, $2, I'll pick something up. I've bought some like vintage programs because they were, from the 40s and it was like $20. But generally, I'm not much into paper memorabilia because it's just there's not much demand for that type of thing. Not that I would sell it since it's Cubs, but it's just it's never really done anything for me collectability wise. But when it comes to programs, I would prefer, especially vintage, a program to be scored as opposed to a clean mint program, especially vintage. I feel it adds character. Somebody was at the game or maybe scoring from home, but put that time into it, and so that, and I got into keeping score here and there, but it's not something that I think it's neat and cool when people do keep score at games. I went to the friend that's staying with us that came last night and is staying with us is my friend's wife, and their wedding was in California, and this is 12 years ago, and so they got married in Carmel, on like a cliff over the ocean, and so their wedding was on a Saturday. So Sunday, I had bought a ticket for the Oakland A's Minnesota Twins game in Oakland. And so I woke up early with a hangover and drove up from Carmel to Oakland to watch an A's game. And I had a great seat. It was second row, but Oakland's weird where it has that, like, they have something right behind home plate. So it's technically like on the face of the ticket, it's like 16th row, 14th row, 12th row, something like that. So I just thought, hey, I'm behind home plate, 14th row. And then I get to will call, pick up my ticket, and the lady's like, wow, this is a really good ticket. I'm like, okay. So I'm walking down, and the Oakland Coliseum's like just terrible. It's an awful stadium. So I'm walking down, and it's essentially the second row. And it was a season ticket holder who basically upgraded to the seat in front of me, to a first row ticket from another season ticket holder. So I was sitting next to this retired couple, husband, wife, probably in their 70s, maybe even in their 80s. And the wife, she kept score. And she had Oakland Athletics earrings, decked out in all green, and she was keeping score behind home plate at the Oakland A's game. It was very cool. So I admire people that can keep score at a game. I am all over the place. I can't sit still. That's why I like the bleachers, because I can walk around, especially now that they've opened the bleachers up, and it's not just go sit in the bleachers. There's you can walk from right to left field. There's in center field, there's concessions, so I can stand. I prefer that. So I can't sit still. Also, this is why I admire people that can keep score. When I'm at home, like I have so many distractions, and usually when I'm watching a game, I'm sorting cards. If I have the game on, or I'm doing other things. So baseball just doesn't keep my. I love baseball. Baseball is my first sport I love, but it just doesn't keep my attention for the whole span of a game. And there's nothing wrong with that. And that doesn't mean I want them to speed the game up. I think it's fine the way it is. But it's just I I kind of like the background noise. I like the soundtrack of when I was in my youth, Harry Carey and Steve Stone, the soundtrack of my youth, in the background as I'm playing with my Matchbox cars. And lately Len Casper, now it's Boog Shambi, Pat Hughes on the radio. Like these announcers are like the soundtracks to my life, especially in the summer, the soundtracks of life, just in the background. It's like they're part of my family just because their voices are there for 162 games. John's with us from the UK. Good afternoon to you. I'm trying to think if you're 6 or 7 hours ahead. 6 hours ahead. So it's probably afternoon there. The UK opening day TV schedule is Braves versus Reds, but it's the 1 a.m. start, so I'll have to give that a miss. Diego says typically baseball is on in the man cave with a small window watching YouTube. There you go. I used to keep my notebook of hits, etc., but it was a lot of games to keep up with watching every game. What's up, Ken? Good morning to you. Easier to catch you when I'm on Eastern time. There you go. Ken's on Eastern time. Traveling man. I like team photo cards. I try to get them every outing. Ken's back in his hometown. That's awesome. Okay, that's not awesome. I just saw your next comment. My condolences. I'm sorry to hear that. Let's see. Dan says, I've done that before. Always forget about the imaginary rows in front of me when calculating. Zach, great memory I had is playing 8th grade traveling baseball, score for the entire season. I wonder if he still has the book. That's really cool because you can go back and look. And so I get the hoarding gene from my mom. Actually, if you look at my dad passed away, but if you look at my parents' house, my mom still lives in the house I grew up in. If you go out in the garage, you'd say, well, your dad was a hoarder too, because the garage is just filled with tools and just all kinds of stuff, like tool stuff, stuff that I was never interested in. I was sports and collectibles. More on the line, my mom loves antique shops. That's where I get that gene from my mom. So I get that hoarding gene. So my mom, every time she comes to visit, she'll bring a box or she'll have a box ready for me when I go back home. And a lot of times it's just like old school stuff. And I'll go through and I still have a text string with four of my high school friends. And we text almost daily, just random crap. And so whenever I come across, like maybe it's a detention notice. Like my mom kept everything. So I'm going through and it's like, or a report card where it says Bo doesn't pay attention. He's the class clown. So I enjoy going through and reminiscing my childhood through my misdeeds at school, I guess. Let's see. John says, have you been to the UK and seen a game of cricket? It's our national summer sport. I have never been to the UK. I had actually my wife and I had a vacation planned in 2020 to go to the Cubs Cardinals series in the UK, and of course COVID canceled that vacation. So it's definitely on a bucket list. Most of my ancestry is from the UK, Scotland, Ireland. So I think like through ancestry, I think it's like 50% of my ancestry is that region, and then a lot of Swedish as well on my dad's side. But it's basically English, Scottish, Irish, and Swedish is what makes up my ancestry. Um, so I've never taken in a game of cricket. Now, I think is cricket really big in India? Because when I first moved here, there was a big population um, of people from India that lived near my neighborhood. And so there would be cricket games, and I think that's what it was, cricket. They would play cricket in the park. So I would go down and just shoot basketball, shoot hoops. I would shoot hoops at the basketball court, and they would have like it was like Friday. It must have been like every Friday thing. And they would play cricket on like Friday afternoons. Huge in India. Okay, so that's what it was. It was definitely cricket in the park on Friday evenings. Um, and so it was really cool. And I'd be shooting hoops, and they would like start coming in at 5, 6 o'clock, whatever time it was, and they'd start their cricket match or whatever you call it. And like I'd be shooting, and all of a sudden I just like because it was so new to me, like I had never watched cricket, didn't know anything about it. So I'm seeing this new sport to me being played in the park. And so it would grab my attention and I would watch. But I've never watched like on TV. I've never watched cricket just in the local park with some neighborhood people. Um, so opening day, Cubs Brewers today. Um, yesterday, so yesterday morning when I went live, I said I purchased. So today's what, Thursday? So Tuesday night, I bought another pallet of cards from Goodwill, about 500 pounds again, and with friends in town this week. I've got the card show in Rockford on Saturday. It's like I don't know if I have time to go pick this up because I've got my card show inventory in the back of my SUV. I'll have to bring that in, and then I'll have to bring it back up. I'll have to unload all the cards from Goodwill, and a lot of it's just random boxes, binders. So it's not like it's a bunch of monster boxes that you can just easily transport in and out. Um, it's a bunch of random sized boxes, binders, bags. There's like it's not a grow. It's like basically a lawn. There's a couple lawn bags. So it's going to be interesting going through that. This was more of a lot that I would expect from a Goodwill. So, and I'll explain. So the first lot was kind of what I expected, but with a Mike Trout rookie card, it was great. But there was a lot of stuff that I had to throw away, and I had to throw it away because it was in like bags, and it was just rubber bands and just beat up cards marked like little kids writing their name, like this is my card, this is my brother's card. Um, um, so I had to throw a lot of them away, and then a lot of like commons, junk wax era. So I basically just put all the commons. Um, I just read Zach's comment and John's comment. So I had to throw a lot away, and then a lot were commons. So I'd probably out of that first pallet, I probably had a 4 or 5 row box of like stuff that was salvageable and that I could sell. Now, and like I made good money selling it. Heck, the commons alone sold for $250. And I think I paid 420 or 440 for that first pallet. And of course, the Mike Trout rookie card, which it did end up selling on eBay recently. So made a good return on that. Now, the second pallet that I bought a little over a month ago was much different because this one was like a lot of new stuff. Like 2021, 2020, 2019, and it was in like nice boxes, like new storage boxes. So the storage boxes alone was great. A lot of Bowman baseball from the last couple of years. So it was like pretty much no commons as far as like junk wax. So I actually had somebody that was going to buy the first bulk lot that I was selling that I put on Facebook Marketplace. But he passed, and I ended up selling it to somebody else. But he reached back out and he's like, "Hey, I can make it up this month. Did you find another collection?" I said, "Yes." I'm working through it, but I didn't have. I'm actually pulling a lot of stuff from like not that's all Cubs, but like over here, a lot of commons, just to kind of consolidate, pulling them out of 4 row boxes so I can have those. So um, there wasn't much in the way of like new of like commons. It was a lot of new stuff. So with this third palette, I was kind of okay. This is going to be the palette where my luck runs out. This is going to be a bunch of junk. It's just going to be 91 Fleer. So we will see. Most of the stuff still in my SUV. I did do a video, so I'm going to get back to John's comment. Zach, I don't know if you watched it yesterday, but there is a part that you may have to cover Porter's eyes because that's what happens when you're on live video and you're going random box of trading cards. There may be something that is not safe for work. So John says, yes, I watched the X-rated video earlier today. That comment might increase your views. I'm glad I marked it not safe for kids or whatever that YouTube mark is. So yes, there was. I don't know how long. I don't think it was on camera long because I caught it pretty quickly before I pulled it off camera. But it was a naughty card. Zach says, I'm old enough to remember when Bo told people to make time. And here he is not knowing if he had time to pick up 500 pounds of cards. Yeah. Yesterday morning, I'm like, you can always, we always say we don't have time, but we can always make time. And in the same breath, in the same video, I said, I don't know if I have time to go pick up this pallet of baseball cards. But I made time. I did make time. And so I'm going to go through it today. So, I mean, what better way to watch opening day baseball than to dig through random mystery boxes, essentially, of these Goodwill cards. I still have to catch your video yesterday. Saw you going live, and then my dog had a medical emergency. Oh my God, that's horrible. I'm so sorry to hear that. Oh gosh. Diego says, all I know is that softball starts after Easter, and my body is at Bartolo Colon late career shape. That's where my body is sits consistently. Uh, let's see. Herman is late trying to get the day done to catch the game. There you go. Let's see. Diego, I like it. We talking bench warmers. Naughtier than bench warmers. Naughtier than bench warmers. Oh, now I wonder what it was. Gonna watch today. Juicy honey. Yeah, it was more juicy honey than it was bench warmers. Let's see. Y'all don't have access to juicy honey or wouldn't pay that much for it. That's true. That's true. So I did find. So I brought a pile of cards, and actually most of them are not sleeved, but the first pitch cards, the inserts from like 2015, 14, 16, I think is when it ended. These actually sell for decent. And when I say decent, like $5, like Jack White. This sells for like $5. The Eddie Vedder Cubs, which I receive a lot in trade, those actually sell for like 10 or 15. So if you're pulling cards, Cubs cards, pull the Eddie Vedder cards out because you can sell those for 10 or $15. Michaela Maroney, I haven't priced this one out, but Olympic gymnast, Chicago White Sox. We've got what's I'm sure it's on the back. Gabriel Iglesias. Is it Fuzzy? Fluffy. I was close. Fluffy, the comedian. Tug McGraw, Tim McGraw's father, who passed away. This is a buyback from 78 Tops. There were a bunch of autographs, and they're just in terrible. Like, this box was just like, I mean, it looks like a kid just beat the heck out of these cards. I don't know what this is from. It's an autograph, Aliens versus Predator. I don't know this actress. Rico Aylesworth as Kelly. It's beat to all heck. Okay, and I pulled a lot of cards that I'm just going to put in 25-cent boxes. So stuff like, I'll just show this for Zach, 88 Donruss, Bo Jackson. Here's another autograph in his Bradley Braves uniform, Anthony Parker. And this one's not as beat up as the last one, but it's still, in kind of crappy shape. Here's another Mississippi Braves, Robbie Hefflinger, Topps Pro Debut auto. Again, you can even see down here that corner is banged up, so that's going to go into a quarter box. Manny Ramirez, this one's not as, this is numbered to 200, not as beat up as some of the other ones. Frickin' NASCAR. There was more NASCAR. There was a binder of NASCAR. There's a Joey Logano relic. I'm accumulating way too much NASCAR. Here's a just scratched all the hell. It's only numbered to 35. Willen Rosario. He's got a Nick Castellanos. This is actually, I think this was in a binder. So it's actually in good shape, a rookie card. Steph Curry. This one was not as beat up. So that's a decent card. We've got Dallas Clark, a relic. That's numbered to 700. Oh, this is the one that I wanted to show off. Because I see this and I'm like, oh wow, Pujols, Tommy, autograph. Whoa, this is an actual autographed card. But guess what? It's an autograph by Adam LaRoche. It's like, wah, wah. It's numbered to 150 on the back. Congratulations. This card contains an authentic autograph from wah, wah, Adam LaRoche. We tease you with Albert Pujols and Jim Thome, 2 Hall of Famers, and we give you the autograph of Adam LaRoche. So a couple more Steph Curry's, a Luka. This is cool from National Treasures. And this is a football, and it's got the football feels. What else was there? Some more, like another Bowman auto that's just all beat up. So hey, autos in the quarter box. I thought this was, when I saw this, I'm like, oh hey, Scoring Kings are like big inserts from the 90s. Only like, this is like a $5 card, which still, I mean, out of a 500 pounds, those $5 cards add up. And then an A-Rod Sportflix rookie from 1995. So that was from the first box. I pulled out a 2-row box because there were a bunch of top loaders, and there was like a Johnny Bench Kellogg's 3D card. And I'm like, ooh, there might be some really good stuff in here. And it was just a bunch of 90s, players that didn't really turn out. So it was kind of a, let's see. Ken says, I'll get to the video sometime next week, maybe. I had no idea Tug McGraw was Tim McGraw's dad. I need more facts of the day here. Yeah, absolutely. Tug McGraw, Tim McGraw's dad. I have a fact of the day. Fred Cox invented the Nerf football. I learned that from John Keating. There you go. And he actually, I think Fred Cox passed away. Was it last year? Saw that naughtiness, but you were on 2 times speed. Flash. There you go. Remember me with NASCAR. I'll start buying bulk. There you go. I have plenty of it. Them loan serial number cards under 100 listed on eBay, even as rough condition will move. Some just need for PC, don't mind conditions. Yeah, I'll check into that, because that Rosario number to 35, I would think number to 35 Bowman Chrome would be, so even in that condition with multiple scratches would be okay to sell for a couple bucks. So I'll check it out. What else? There was one other thing that I wanted to talk about that I had in my description and I can't remember. Shaw Cards, good morning. I'm late today. I like the Goodwill videos. Thank you very much. I may do another one today. We'll see. And it's probably going to be at a random time, maybe around lunchtime. So we will see. What's tonight? Maybe I'll do something tonight as well. I just got to see. So yeah, so the Goodwill lot. I was going to do a video of, and here's like, this is what I was gonna do, but I didn't. I was going to do a video unloading, because I had some questions and I thought it would be cool to show, like, this is the process of, because the picture that you see is like a pallet, and that's literally how I pick it up. Now, not literally, I don't literally pick it up, but I unload it from that Gaylord. So it's a Gaylord is a hard cardboard material box that sits on a pallet. That's what a Gaylord is. So it comes in a Gaylord, 500. I think the total weight was like 535 pounds, but the tear weight was 490, I think 495, something like that. 495 pounds of actual cards, boxes, binders, etc. So I had my tripod that I just bought. I've only used it twice at the last two Madison card shows, and so I pull it out, and it's overcast. It's kind of like it looks like it's gonna rain, and there's a roof over me, but I'm still outside. So if it like starts pouring, I'm in trouble because it was kind of windy, so it'll just blow in. So I didn't want to chance it by taking time because sometimes when I unload, I'll like pull out a binder and I'll kind of like flip through just to see. And so I was going to set my tripod up and I was going to take video of this is the process of how I get this home, this huge pallet arts home. Uh, but my tripod is damaged. And so one of the legs wouldn't stick. So it's like, well, crap. And I didn't want to take time to figure it out because I wanted to get the cards safely into my vehicle before it started raining. And actually, about halfway driving home, it started pouring. So I timed it good that I avoided any rain. So basically, it's this big Gaylord, 500 and some pounds, and you go up to the door, you ring the bell, they come out, they know I'm coming, and he wheels out this Gaylord of cards, and then you just unload it yourself. And again, it's a bunch of random donations. So it's not like one person drops all of this stuff off. Although the last pallet that I bought, I think most of it, a majority, was from like one person because it was all similar boxes and content. This one, there's some bags of cards, there's boxes, there's binders, a little bit of everything. And so, the first tub, I'm like, I'm gonna probably throw my back out today from this one tub. It was like I I can't tell you on this screen, but I'm like pulling. I'm like, "Wh how big is this freaking tub?" And it's huge, and it's just all cards just thrown into this big Tupperware whatever tub. So I think there's gonna be a lot of garbage in this one, but I'm hoping that there's going to be some good stuff as well. Essentially, there's going to be a lot of 25-cent material. There's going to be a lot of cards that go in the $1.50 eBay store, and then hopefully there's going to be some stuff that moves at you know 10-20 bucks. Maybe I'll get lucky again. I've been lucky with a several $100 card in each of the first two pallets I've bought. Maybe third time's a charm, and I'll get really lucky, but I doubt it. I did flip through one binder. It had some basketball cards from the 90s. There was a Kobe Bryant, like an early Kobe Bryant card, I think a second year. Um, so I'll show that off when I get to it. Um, but other than that, there was some of those plaques. They're like, I don't know, marble, granite, whatever they are, but like big. One's Aaron Rodgers. It has like an 8x10 of Aaron Rodgers, has like 5 cards. It's really nice. It'll probably sell, for something like that might actually sell on eBay, where the smaller, like, remember the ones from the early 90s where it was either wood or that like cheap plastic with like just a top loader glued on, and then a cheap name plaque, Michael Jordan. I think we all had those in the early 90s. Those won't sell, but this is like a really nice one that you would see at like a sports memorabilia shop. And then there was a JJ Watt, very similar, and then a Brett Favre, which is just an 8x10. So that might just go in my own like bulk lot that I sell. So those are some of the things that I found, and I do want to do a video because they do seem popular. I think yesterday's video already has over 200 views in 12 hours. So I do know that they're popular. So I'll try to do a part 2 today. I'm going to go to the chat real quick. Let's see. Jenny says, I was searching hobby. Oh, yes, that's what I wanted. I wanted to give my final thoughts on WWE Prism. I was searching hobby box costs last night. Couldn't believe them. You can buy a hobby box of under 100 cards with one pitcher's auto of Chrome for $500, or a pallet of 150,000 cards for 500. Exactly. Give me a pallet of random Goodwill donations all day, every day. Ken says, I've sold lots of cards where I've had poor condition and the title. People truly will buy them. It took a while for my last bulk lot to sell. It took about a month, but I finally did have a buyer. And I expect that to be the same. And it's, I'm actually surprised that it took so long because most of the big lots like that are probably $2,000. And it's like, this is just a bunch of junk. Mine was 200,000 cards, $250. And the only for like 3 weeks, the only interest I had was people just saying, I'll give you 100. It's like, I'm not going to pull these out of my basement for $100. Not going to do it. Let's see. I don't believe Tug raised him. It was figured out later in life. A road trip birth, I do believe. Interesting. Interesting. John, that 70s card show. Good morning, party people. What's up to you? So jealous of these palette finds. They're so much fun. They are so much fun. You will be lucky with palette 7. I predict you pull a Jordan rookie in that one. After 3 Goodwill buys, I'm starting to feel like an enabler. Absolutely. And I will buy them. I would buy them weekly if they came up weekly, but they're only coming up monthly. So Herman made and sold a ton of those in the 90s. Yes, the plaques. Yeah, the plaques. So Jenny mentioned hobby box prices. So WWE Prism, as expected, was like $1,000. I think Panini's website had them at like 950 or 900. They sold out in, I think, less than 5 minutes. And it's okay. I see a lot of people on Twitter upset that WWE cards are so expensive. But here's the thing: there's demand for it. Like $1,000 to you may seem like an insane amount for a hobby box. I mean, personally, I think it's an insane amount for a hobby box, but I choose not to buy it. Um, and I'm okay with that. Like, I would really love to rip a hobby box of WWE Prism. But I'm not going to spend $1,000. And I actually considered it a few days ago, and I'll go into why I decided against it. But if you want WWE cards, it's much like baseball, football, basketball. There are other options. WWE Prism isn't the only WWE card product out there. I can go to my local Walmart and Target right now, and there's at least 2 WWE products on the shelves. And sometimes it's the only product on the shelf. Tops and Tops Heritage, which are really fun rips. If you want WWE cards, now I know everybody wants the shiny Prism, and they think it's outrageous that they're $1,000 per hobby box. And what about the collector? What about the true collector? That's what I see sometimes. What about the true collector? They can't afford $1,000 hobby box. Well, if you're a true collector, you don't care that it's shiny Prism. You should care about the card, about the product, about WWE, and you can go buy your Tops and Tops Heritage if you don't want to spend $1,000 on Prism. I hate seeing those comments. It is what it is. There's demand at $1,000 a hobby box. You just have to suck it up, move on. Now, I was gonna buy. I was thinking about buying a hobby box or two at $1,000 because it's the first Prism. It's, as you can see, WWE Prism has been the talk of Twitter the last 2 days, at least on my timeline. But I'm also a wrestling fan, so I thought about it. And then, so official release date was yesterday. And so Tuesday night, I saw a sale, and I think David Peck, D Peck, who has an amazing wrestling card collection, he had, I think, took a screenshot of a sale. And it was of Gable Steveson, who's like the top rookie in Prism. Braun Breaker, also a top rookie as well. But Gable Steveson is two-time NCAA national champion, just won it, University of Minnesota. And so he has been drafted to Raw. He is like the Wander Franco of WWE wrestling. And so I'm like, man, his Prism rookie card is going to be outrageous. And it wasn't. So this is what turned me off onto buying WWE Prism. Now, yes, I am a wrestling fan. I do enjoy wrestling cards, but I don't collect them. I don't collect them. I would be ripping and flipping. Like, I enjoy opening the boxes, opening the packs. Like, that's where I get my enjoyment, but I don't keep them. Like, for me, every single card would be going into my eBay store. So it's just not a smart move, a smart financial move to spend $1,000 on a hobby box. Even though, yes, it's wildly popular. But when I saw and I don't know if I said the price, it sold before the official release date. There were some people got their boxes on Tuesday. Uh, Sold for $25, and I thought that this card, Gable Steveson, would sell for $100 at release. So $25 at release. I was dumbfounded at how low that price was for a Gable Steveson. So and that's before release. So what's that price going to be next week, or what's that price going to be next month? Um, what's that price going to be if I did order 2 boxes and I didn't get them until next week, till next Wednesday, and put them on my eBay store? $10 cards, $15 cards. So that's what turned me into not wanting to spend that money on a hobby box, was seeing that price. Ken says it's the new money. It absolutely is. It absolutely is. There's new money into the hobby, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. Might not be a good thing. Time will tell, I think. Um, I like that there's new money, because a lot of this new money are people that have large media presence, and so it's putting the hobby into the forefront of some news articles and mainstream media. And as somebody that sells cards full time, I like that, because there is a trickle down effect. Um, when people see that some of these cards are selling for millions of dollars, all of a sudden there's demand for cards, and it trickles down. Now your 88 Fleer are not going to be selling for 10x, but there is still a trickle down, and it generates more interest into the hobby, and not everybody can afford $1,000 hobby box, or the cards that this new money can afford. So they're going to Alex Rodriguez Sportflix rookie cards. Ken says the problem is that people paying the asinine prices aren't the longtime collectors, but that doesn't bother me at all. The price bump has hit wrestling and racing, albeit 2 years later. I am surprised that it took this long for wrestling. I think it's the Prism effect, basically. And I know wrestling has gradually gone up. It didn't see that spike that other sports did during COVID. But I don't see that as a problem with new collectors, new money being into the hobby. What about me? What about Diego? There you go. You're right, Ken. This is why I'd rather have a palette of 90s cards for a quarter of the price. And I'm there with you. But it doesn't bother me that there's new money, and there's this hype around a product like Prism. But yeah, I'm all day, every day, I'm going to buy a pallet of Goodwill donation cards, and pass on a Prism hobby box. And I maybe they're only one that gets that, Diego. It's funny, Breaker is way more like his uncle than his dad. Yeah, so for those non-wrestling fans, Braun Breaker is the son of Rick Steiner and the nephew of Scott Steiner, the Steiner brothers, who were recently inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. Braun Breaker is a cool name, but use the Steiner name. He should be Braun Steiner or something Steiner. He's a Steiner boy. And actually, Steiner's not their actual last name. Their last name is Rex Steiner. And did he go by? And actually, now that I say that, I think he went by Rex Steiner in NXT. Actually, he is in NXT now. He's the NXT champion. But I thought that he was initially going to be Rex Steiner, and then they changed it to Braun Breaker, which Braun Breaker is a cool name, but he's got that Steiner blood. Give him a Steiner name. Diego vexes me. He's got a Mickey Morandini crush, yet cheers for the Steelers. John says at least the new money is circulating within the hobby. Absolutely. It's not funneling out for Lambos and yachts. Low Roller says, what did you find in the cards yesterday? Check out the video. There's a part 1 video. I'll do another video later today. I'll do a part 2 at some point. I'm not sure when. But maybe this evening, I'll do another video going live. But there's a video from what I pulled out of the first couple boxes yesterday. Maybe it doesn't bother you, but that doesn't mean it doesn't bother others. I agree. When did the sports cards breakers got invented? But I don't think, and I'll follow up, Ken. I don't think it's a problem. And I guess that's your opinion. You think it's a problem. I don't think it's a problem. But it's yeah, okay. So I get it. I don't think it's an issue. You think it's an issue. Others may think it's an issue. Low Roller says, when did the sports cards breakers get invented in the 90s? We don't know what is breakers. The first time I recall hearing about breaking was in 2012. I was working with the Peoria Chiefs, and one of the guys that worked in the he might have been an intern, I don't know, but he worked for the Chiefs, and he would and my friend also worked for the club. He was the broadcaster, and he's like, yeah, Sam would, on the bus trips, he would be breaking cards on the bus. And I'm like, that's really weird. And then all of a sudden it was a big thing. So 2012 was when I first heard of it. So I'm sure it started before then, but that's when I first heard about breaking, because I wasn't really into cards at that point. 2012 was kind of when I was dipping my toes back into buying baseball cards again. So pre 2000, like the early 2000s, the mid 2000s, I wasn't really paying attention to the hobby as much. There were pockets of time where I was. 2005, 6, I was heavily into it. And then I got back into it 2012, and then 2014 is when I just dove right back in. I don't really care, but I know other longtime collectors that do, and I hate it for them. And I get that, but it's kind of like, and I liken it to a vehicle. Like Prism is like, not everybody can afford a Bentley's probably not a good example. A Mercedes. Not everyone can afford a Mercedes. Most people would like one, and I know some people wouldn't, but I would love to have a nice Mercedes SUV, but I can't afford it. Um, I don't think that's a problem. Much like Prism, like people can't afford Prism. That's okay. Like we don't have to have. I think that's what there's almost a what's the word I'm looking for? Um, I want to say I'm stuck on your or on enable, not enable, but uh, I feel like collectors feel like they should be able to acquire every product that they want. Like if there's a product that they can't afford, it's bad. And I don't get that. Like I just, and that's just not the way I think. If it's something I can't afford, either work harder, make more money, or just not buy it. So that's kind of, I'm trying to think of the word, entitled. I knew it was an E word. Entitled. I feel like a lot of collectors that have that mindset feel entitled, like they have to acquire everything, and we don't. And it's not 1981 when there's not 3 products anymore. And it's pretty much impossible to have if you're a team collector. I've At the beginning of collecting a million Cubs cards, I resigned to the fact that I can't have a complete Chicago Cubs run. Like it's just impossible. Um, it's not even like, even if you had uh, an endless bank account, um, you still can't, because there's one of ones, there's other collectors that you're competing with. And it's an impossibility if you're a team collector, player collector. But in 1981, you could acquire pretty much every card made of your favorite player, favorite team, etc. It's just we have to adapt. Let's see. Low Roller says, you went offline on live stream. You said you were going to post what is your latest big hits in the Goodwill palette. Yeah, and I didn't have any other good hits, and there just wasn't really anything to show off. Let's see. My brother invented breaking in 1973 when he bought a box of wacky packages with money he wasn't supposed to. Episode 5. I'm gonna have to tune into that. I have not watched that episode. I will check that out. That's funny. Dang, I didn't get my notification today. Usually I go on at 7. I think I was a couple minutes late. 7 a.m. Monday through Friday. So and then I do tweet. I don't know if you're on Twitter, but I do tweet the direct link out before I go on. Brian says sell more cards. That's what I have to do. If you want something, you have to just work and make more money. If you want a box of Prism, sell some cards. And if you don't want to sell cards, I mean that's your decision. Ken says big difference. People wouldn't have Mercedes for 30 years and then they raise the price 10x. I get your point, but still a pretty unique scenario. Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's a direct true comparison. But essentially it's the same it's the same mindset where it comes down to, if you want something, just work for it. And if it's priced, like I can afford a hobby box of WW Prism, but it's just not worth it to me. And that's okay. And I know other people think differently, and that's okay. But to me, my opinion is it's just not worth it. And that's okay. Like, it's life, that's life. And it just doesn't always work the way we want it to work. This palette of cards, I want another Mike Trout rookie card. I'd love to have a Michael Jordan rookie card, but I know that's not a comparison. That's just, you don't always, sorry, Rolling Stones. You can't always get what you want. Let's see. Brian Bourne, 1981 in packs were 35 cents. And 35 cents was probably a lot of money in 1981. I wasn't born yet. 10x almost overnight. Mourning all my 2 bargain box cards from 1928. The Oswald, Lucky Rabbit, and Charlie Chaplin card are going to pay for the other $150 cards I picked up at the card show, digging through dollar bins last show. That's sweet. Love those stories. I have no issues with cost because I know singles will always be available to me at many sources. That's perfectly put. Like, if it's not, you have to pivot. And the hobby is always evolving. And it's going to evolve in directions that we don't individually like. And that goes for everybody in the hobby. No matter what your likes and dislikes are, there's going to be a time that look at Bowman. I freaking love Bowman, but I don't buy hobby boxes at $400 or $500 a hobby box to pull a random prospect. But I love opening Bowman. So I have to pivot. And I have to buy either bulk lots or singles or retail if I can find it. You just have to be ready to make a change, and whether you like it or not. And I understand that if we don't like something, we can complain and vent, and that's okay too. Shows are exploding. That just goes to show me, when you see something really cool and you don't know much about it, just grab it and see what happens. I'm a big proponent of that, especially when it comes to like a $1 box. If you look at it like, this is a pretty cool card, you're out $1. Now you don't want to do that 1,000 times, and it's worthless. But there's times where I'm digging through the $1 box and it's like, okay, I'm going to grab these just because it's $1 or 50 cents or 25 cents. I'll probably get a discount, so I'll get it down to 20 cents, 40 cents, 80 cents, and go from there. And maybe it's only worth what I paid for it. Maybe it's worth less than I paid for it, but maybe, just maybe, it's worth a lot more. My brother says I left out the part where my mom slapped him in the face. Love it. Got pulled away 18 minutes behind, so catching up. Have a great day. Thank you, Zach. Gas was probably 39 in 1981. Was 81 might still have been the gas wars. Of course, we were also in 81 driving those big boats, gas guzzling boats in 1981. We were in a gas crisis because we were driving around gas guzzlers. Word is that they just announced C.J. Abrams will make opening day roster. Series 2 will be loaded. That's another. I think I'm going to save this for tomorrow because I'm already 55 minutes in. I had a great conversation. I think it was with David in direct messaging and Michael. So I've had a couple different conversations with people regarding rookie cards and when they'll be in products. And there's a lot of I think there's no black and white line when it comes to cutoff dates. We're led to believe there's a date, and if player X makes it on in a game by July 10th, he'll be in this series or this series, and I don't believe that for one bit because we have actual proof that that's not the case in some instances. Sue's on Hobby Hotline Tuesday night. Check that out. Hobby Hotline Overtime. It's actually like the first segment. She worked for Topps, if you're not aware. She actually discussed how some of that works and brought up some great points some points that I had assumed and some points that I had wondered about that she explained. So I learned a lot in that segment. I do implore you to watch Hobby Hotline all the time, but specifically for this topic, this past Tuesday's episode, I think it's the very first segment. They talk about how the Topps rookie class in 2022 is going to be loaded, and Sue's kind of explains the process, at least when she was working at Topps, how it all works, and it basically lines up with how I thought things worked out, but I was surprised at some of the things she mentioned specifically. And I want to talk about that a little bit more tomorrow. Let's see, because I have my thoughts and opinions on how that works as well. And again, I think it's what Topps. I know some people rant and rave that a rookie card should be in a rookie year, but I get it from the business standpoint by Topps. So I'll save that for tomorrow. Let's see. But Straight Execution says C.J. Abrams. I know that he was still on the roster like the last day of spring training. Wasn't officially announced. But yeah, I was expecting him to be named on the opening day roster. And then the others, Bobby Witt Jr., Spencer Torkelson, and who's the third I'm missing? Julio Rodriguez. Ken says yes, but gas didn't jump from 39 cents in 2019 to 3.90 today. I don't know what that comparison is about. What's jumped 10x overnight? If you guys want KBO boxes for $85, let me know. Very cool. On the flip side of price jumps, I watched wages jump from $11 per hour to $19 per hour from 2020 to 2022. So when teens are making $19 an hour at McDonald's, I expect costs to jump. Yeah, you should see. I have some friends that own businesses that are really struggling to find help at $25 per hour. And I'm not talking like you have to have a master's degree or, experience. Like these are for entry level, like menial positions. I shouldn't say menial, but like answering the phone, doing, some of that stuff, $25 an hour and still struggling to find help. And I'm thinking, hell, for $25 an hour, I'll put a couple hours in during the day. I'll just tweak my schedule around for $25 an hour to basically sit and answer a phone. That's specifically what one position was. And I'm not generalizing. This is an actual friend of mine who has an actual position who's struggling at $25 per hour to find help. Chase says, when you sell a single card for $1 on eBay, is it okay to just ship in a penny sleeve inside a standard envelope? No, it is not. So penny sleeve, and I prefer card savers or top loader. I used to do top loaders, and I talked about this the other day. I go to card savers now just because it was easier to find them. But basically, top loaders and card savers now are about the same price. But no, you should never send a card in a plain white envelope in just a penny sleeve. Card saver or top loader. Sue's touched on that in Hobby Hotline. Let's see, it'll show up as confetti by the time the buyer gets it. Appreciate it. There was never rookie hype. It is based purely on speculation, which is driving the hobby in the wrong direction. But really, hasn't it always been that way since the rookie card boom in the 80s? I think there's always been rookie hype. It's not. It's not just. It's not a new thing. I think there's a resurgence in the rookie hype, where, and I think that's just because there's more people in the hobby, and there's more attention being paid to, well, this rookie card sold for X amount on Golden auctions, a Michael Jordan PSA 9. So I think that there's a bigger boom. But look at like the 86 rated rookie Jose Canseco. Like, I remember as a kid, that was $100 card, like in the Beckett guide. $100. I mean, to me, I was buying packs of tops for 50 cents or 35 cents, whatever it was, at the local IGA 1989. And that was, I mean, $100 was a lot of money in 1989. September call-ups used to mean a shot at next year's base set. Yeah, and now it's just all out of whack. And I'm going to talk more about that tomorrow. That's going to be the main topic tomorrow, is rookie cards in sets. Jenny says the cost of everything is increasing. Everything. It's a bigger picture in the hobby. Gas costs to get product around the country. Cost of paying those drivers. Yeah, everything. And I know there's that's the reason for some, like, but it's demand. A lot of this, like, just to keep it on the same page as the topic WWE Prism, that's the demand. Like it or not, that's the demand. People are willing to pay $1,000 per hobby box. Look at your Twitter timeline, especially if you follow wrestling fans and collectors. There's a lot of people that they're paying $1,000 for a hobby box. The demand is there. People are paying that price. Is that a good thing? I don't think it's a good thing or a bad thing. I think it's just a thing. That's what it is. That's the demand. People are paying those prices. That's where the market decides, like it or not, this is $1,000 hobby box. You heard the Fed will stop printing the money. It wants to create recession. It's the only way to stop inflation. So I don't want to get into that, but I will say, if there's a recession, it absolutely affects the collectibles market. I saw I was selling cards. I wasn't really collecting. By Fed, he means fanatics. I like it. When the housing crash occurred, 2008, 2009, I saw and I was selling a lot on eBay back then. I wasn't really collecting, but I was selling a lot. And card prices tanked, at least on the eBay market in 2008, 9, 10. So yes, absolutely. If there's, and I'm not going to get into the politics or all that stuff, but yes, if there is a recession, I should say, when there will be a recession at some point in the future. It's all cyclical. But yes, it will most definitely affect baseball cards, collectibles, stuff we spend, because there will be less money for the necessities. Going back to my university days, it's price elasticity of demand. I like it. So that's going over an hour today. So thanks for tuning in. Tomorrow I'll talk about my thoughts on rookie cards, and how Topps handles the releases. Later today, I'll probably do at some point, maybe lunchtime, early afternoon. I'll go live with some more of my um, some of my Goodwill palette stuff. Um, so stay tuned for that. Part one video is up on my YouTube channel. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Happy opening day. Go Cubs. Korean Cardboard. When is your next retro pack opening? I don't know. I keep putting it off. I need to make time. I have the time to make because it only takes like 5 minutes. Um, I'll try to do it soon. Howard the Duck is going to be the next pack, the next retro pack, vintage or nostalgia break. So I'll do that soon. So have a great day. Happy Thursday. Happy opening day. And we'll talk tomorrow.